The U.S. Senate voting today on the so-called Buffett rule. The proposal requires Americans who earn more than $1 million a year to pay a minimum of 30% in federal taxes, and it's very popular with Americans. Look at the latest Gallup polling data. 60% of Americans favor it, 37% oppose. Republican John Cornyn from Texas is on the Senate Budget Committee. He joins us live from Capitol Hill. And, Senator, always good to talk to you. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
But look, given the popularity of this, is it unwise for your party, Republicans, to oppose it?
Well, I think we need to put it in context. And the fact is that this Buffett rule, which will essentially eliminate capital gains tax treatment for people who pay income taxes on an individual tax return, that includes a lot of businesses, will discourage investment at a time we need the private sector to invest more, to create more jobs, to bring unemployment down. And the president himself admits that this will not fix the problem with this $15 trillion debt. It's a drop in the bucket. And what we really need, instead of this distraction, instead of this attempt to divide Americans along class lines, is real tax reform, like the president's own bipartisan fiscal commission recommended in December of 2010, which he's ignored.
But Senator, the plan actually only affects a fraction of the American population, about 210,000. And in fact, a 2011 Treasury Department study found that it would only affect a very small proportion of businesses. So given that, and juxtapose the popularity of this among the American people, again, why oppose it? Aren't you giving a political weapon to the president to just bludgeon the GOP by saying, hey, you guys, you're just defending and protecting the rich?
The last time we tried this was the alternative minimum tax, which is targeted at about 150 taxpayers who paid no tax. Strangely enough, over the years, that tax grew to now include up to 30 million people, including many middle-class taxpayers. This is a Trojan horse. This is not just targeted at the very rich. And you know what, Greg? What we also need to do is look at why is it that half of the households in America pay zero income tax?
Sure.
So we need some real tax reform. This isn't it. This is a gimmick.
You know, when he introduced the Buffett rule, here's what the president said about it, quote, "That basic principle of fairness, if applied to our tax code, could raise enough money to stabilize our debt and deficits for the next year." Of course, Senator, his own Treasury Department says it's only going to raise less than $5 billion a year. And when you do the calculations, that comes out to less than 1% of our current budget deficit, which is $1.2 trillion. Do you think the president is deliberately being deceptive, exaggerating? How would you describe it?
Well, the kindest thing I could say is he's overstating the case, and I believe this Treasury Secretary is right. It is a drop in the bucket. But why would you engage in this sort of divisive rhetoric at a time when we do have a serious problem? Part of that problem is spending, and the other part is trying to get the private sector to grow. This actually does nothing to stop the spending. It encourages it, and it discourages investment from the private sector and job creation. So it's a bad idea. I think most people, once they understand that context, they'll agree with us.
When the president cites fairness, he continues to make mention of individuals who are rich who pay a lower tax rate than the middle class. We looked it up. IRS data shows middle class pays an average of 15%, while the rich pay an average of 26% on their tax rates for the federal government. Again, deceptive data being used by the president?
Well, I think you can, it's complicated, as those facts would suggest. Many wealthy people pay capital gains tax, but the truth is, which is 15% rate right now on long-term investments. But the fact of the matter is the very wealthy can hire the army of lawyers and accountants to help them circumvent this, help them defer this tax. And a lot of small business people who pay flow-through income on an individual tax return will not have those resources to do it, and they will bear the brunt of this tax.
Well, it doesn't look like it's going to pass. Senator John Cornyn, thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you very much.